One of the stories is about where I live right now. And where I live right now is Vanuatu, a tiny little island nation in the South Pacific, just west of Fiji, north of Australia, for those of you, most people don't know where Vanuatu is. And what happened was I got to Vanuatu and I put Cassiopeia into business. One of the things the old schoonerman told me never to do. They told me two things when I left Key West. They said, son, we want to tell you something. And then the whole room got quiet. And they said, son, never put your boat into business because it's going to ruin it for you. And then they said, and the second thing, and more importantly, is never sell your boat for a woman. You can always get another woman. Well, I nearly did both of those. But the first one I did, I put her into business here in Vanuatu, and I was taking tourists out on day sails, and we dressed up like pirates. It was a hoot. But the interesting thing about it was that almost every time, people from Sydney or Auckland or somewhere would ask the same question, very simple question: why are these people so happy? So there's a chapter in the book called Why Are They So Happy? And it's a very interesting expose because they would always follow up by saying, you know, they've got nothing. Look at them. They're sitting there in their threadbare dresses on the floor in the market selling vegetables for 50 cents. They live in tin shacks, but they're so happy. Every time I go ashore, I hear laughter. They're always smiling. They're always so friendly. How can this be? And so, again, the stories from my life, from my experiences, lead to a philosophical point. Well, of course they can be more happy. They have different priorities. They have a different sense of community. And that's really key, their sense of community. They sing together. I mean, when was the last time you guys got together with a bunch of your mates and sang, for an hour, just for the sake of it? When was the last time you had your neighbors over for dinner? They eat together all the time. And the way the work ethic is here, they have time to stop on the street and smile at each other, have eye contact. They've got time. If you have a child here, they call them pickaninnies. If you got a pickaninny here, a pickaninny is just part of the community. It's not some horrible burden. You don't become a single parent who has to oh God, my life is ruined. I'm a single parent. No, everybody kind of takes care of you. Auntie will take care of her and grandma. And so they have this sense of community, which is what makes them happy. They don't, a plasma TV, as you well know, and a 50-hour work week does not make you happy. But what these guys have is this sense of community. And that's one of the things that I profess very strongly, is that what we need right now in our planet is a global sense of community. The only way we're going to manage our oceans and our air and the pollution and the climate change is by having a sense of global community. We can't do it as Chinese and Americans and French and Germans. We are humans. And that's part of why I've written this book, is because when you live at sea and you travel around for 27 years from people from all over the world, you go to all these different cultures, you find out one main thing. We're all the same. We all want the same thing. And so this is my point. It's time for us to create what makes these guys happy all over the world. And that is a sense of community. So my idea is that we do that from the bottom up. So I ask you, please go invite your neighbor over for dinner. Get to know him. You probably lived next door to him for 10 years, and you might not even know his name. So create a sense of community in your own life. And, stop and have time to say hi to somebody. Make eye contact with somebody in the street. You never know. Just that one eye contact as you're walking past somebody on the way to work. Maybe 2 days later, you'll see that same person and make eye contact again. Bingo. That's the tiniest little sense of community. And if we can get that in a global way, then that's how we can change things from the bottom up.